And we are back. This is Real Estate Radio with Damon Gatier. I'm Brett Sharp. We've been talking about listings. If you're ready to list your home, make sure you go to listwithdamon.com. That's listwithdamon.com. I've used Damon for every real estate action, I think, since I've been here, haven't I?
I think so.
It's been multiple homes, not just for me, not just for my wife, but for our son too. So I can give you firsthand advice that this guy knows how to get it done. You want to sell your home faster and for more money, go to listwithdamon.com. So where did we leave off? We were talking about listing your home. We were talking about the home inspectors and how you need a good home inspector. Who else do we need to talk to? I mean, you pretty much have everyone I need to list my home. If I hear your ad on the radio or I hear this on the radio and go, I want Damon to list my home, I come to you, what's the next step?
Yeah, we pretty much have a team in place. So, we want to do the home inspection. Then I have contractors that will help you do the repairs also.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. We use a couple of them, and
are these yours? Are these your businesses that you own?
No, they're not. No, They are. It's funny because they've all become friends over the years because we do so much business together. But no, they're not friends that we use or anything like that. They're not businesses I own.
You own, right?
No, they're friends of mine now because I've used them for years, and heck, one of them I coach football with now and everything. But they're not just good, but they're affordable also. And that's kind of the key thing. There's a lot of contractors out in the world, but finding one that's affordable and good, that's kind of what we're looking for in this situation.
Well, that's the thing is when I go to list my home, if I go, I don't have that particular skill set. I know that from listening to you, I know that I need to get my home in good shape, but I am not a good painter. So you've got a guy, right? Pardon the expression.
Yeah, I've got two guys. They paint all my flips. Yeah, and their own company. They work for me, but they don't work for me, if that makes sense. They do work for me, but they're not employees of mine. It's not a company I own or anything like that, but they do really good work.
From a legal standpoint, I have to divulge everything I know is wrong with the house, right? So if for some reason I go, Damon, I don't want to put this work into the house, I just want to sell it, you're not going to get as much money, are you?
So no, you don't have to divulge. I do. So a seller doesn't have to divulge anything. They sign what's called a disclaimer in Virginia. Virginia is a caveat emptor state, which means buyer beware. Okay. So the seller doesn't have to disclose anything. I, the real estate professional, have to disclose anything I know or should have known.
Okay.
And the should have known part I don't like because that's up to a judge to decide what I should have known. And so then people will say like, well, do I want to do a home inspection because I don't want to disclose it? The home inspection 99 times out of 100 is going to happen, whether the seller gets one or whether the buyer gets one. And then there's also the side inspection, which is the appraisal. Some appraisals are very in-depth, some are not. Some of them think they're home inspectors, some of them think they're appraisers. It just depends on which appraiser you get. But a home inspection 99 times out of 100 is going to occur during this transaction. It just depends whether you want to initiate it on the sales side or the list side, or whether you want to wait to see what the buyer has and react.
And is it completely thorough? Tell me about the home inspection process, because I want to know. I know, like when we called you and said we want to buy this house for our son, you said we need to get the septic, snake a camera down the septic or whatever. Is that what, I can't remember. Did we hire somebody else for that, or was that the home inspector found that?
We hired somebody else for that.
We did, okay.
So we being you. So
yeah. But you hooked me up.
I hooked you up.
And here's what you need to do.
So what happens is this, and look, the only reason I hesitate to ever give names on the radio or out without a one-on-one conversation is that people do change, and people hear something one time and then a company gets bought or sold, and 6 months later it's not the same people. And
yeah,
say,
right.
Oh, well, Damon said that. Well, Damon said that then, not now.
Right.
And so, if you're interested, reach out to me and I'll tell you who these people are today. That being said, so the home inspector is a home inspection. And so what does it cover? How in depth are they? It depends on your home inspector. I'm going to recommend somebody that is in depth. And the reason is you want an actual report card of the house. I'm going to recommend the same home inspector that I would recommend if you were purchasing the house.
Because I want to know roof, I want to know plumbing, I want to know electric, I want to know septic. I want somebody that's going to take care of all of it. You
want somebody that's going to look at everything. You don't want someone that's going to rubber stamp it. And there are a lot of inspectors that rubber stamp it. There are a lot of inspectors that blow stuff out of proportion. I don't want either one. I want one that gives you an actual factual report of the house with no emotion. This is what I see. This is the issue I see. Okay, that's the inspector I'm looking for. Now, a lot of people say, well, they missed this. Okay, so they're going into a 2,000 square foot structure and they're looking at it in 3 hours. Are they going to miss some stuff? Yes, they are going to miss some stuff. Are they going to miss big stuff? I hope not. I hope not. But let me give you an example of, we had a home inspection for our home inspector who was not thorough. And we had an HVAC up in an attic, and the HVAC had a pan to capture the condensation from the condensation pump.
Yeah.
It did not have an alarm or a trigger that if the condensation pump failed, that it would cut the HVAC off. And so it overflowed. It overflowed into the ceiling. The ceiling ran into the wall. The wall ran into the kitchen, ran into the cabinets. The cabinet ran all the way down to the floor. The floor went to the
that could be mold too with water, right?
Right. You want to know how much the repair was?
How much?
$42,000 because the home inspector did not.
Not a big deal for you, Damon Gatier, but for me, man, that's some big coin.
It's a big coin for everybody. That's big coin for everybody. Now you're making insurance claims, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, turn it into insurance." Well, one, you got deductibles. Two, now your insurance just went up. Okay, so it's not anything you want to do, and it's just something that's totally avoidable because had there been a thorough inspection on the house, they would have said, "Hey, you're missing this. You're missing this one. I don't know what it is, $20, $100, $200 thing that now costs $42,000."
Yeah,
and it's just something you shouldn't have to deal with. And if you had a thorough inspection, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, just so you know how important it is to get that inspection. Just some of the deals I've done with Damon, we bought a house at Claytor Lake through you, and we bought it. I think it was $90,000. We fixed it up, did some stuff, lived in it for a while, used it for a while, and I miss it now. By the way, I wish I wouldn't have sold it, but we sold it at the top of the market. Bought it for 90, sold it for over 200,000 because of the things that you suggested to do, and it was all easy stuff. It was simple painting. It was stuff that you go, oh, actually, I can do this. You run into people who don't want to get inspections because they're trying to save a buck, or you have those people
on the buy side or the list side,
which I don't know, whichever, either.
So we recommend everybody get one, and I do not get compensated if anybody gets a home inspection. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But we also are very clear when I say we push to the point, like I don't buy a flip without a home inspection, and I use that home inspection as my repair list to repair for my flip. Or if I'm going to do a buy and hold, if I'm buying a house to rent it out, I use that home inspection as my repair list for that house.
Yeah.
So I don't buy a house without home inspection. So why in the heck am I going to advise you to not do it?
Yeah.
Like if you don't get a home inspection, you could be a fool, maybe a fool. You should have a home inspection.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a car without taking it to a mechanic to have them check it out. So why would you buy a home? Why would you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on something and not get a home inspection? And look, during COVID, we had many people they had to pass on home inspections to get houses. There were 10, 20, 30, 40 offers on houses. After they lost, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 offers, they were waiving home inspections, doing all this. Every single one that waived home inspection, they shouldn't have done it. It was a nightmare.
What kind of things can you find? What kind of if you were to waive it, tell me some of the worst things you've seen.
I had two personally. One of them was an ex-relative of mine that bought a house and it didn't have any carpet in. They said, oh, the carpet needed to be replaced. We're going to give you credit for the carpet and everything. They waived home inspection and they moved into the house, and no, it wasn't the carpet needed replaced. It needed to be the house had flooded, and in between all the layers of the floor was black mold, and in the walls, I can't remember, it was either 12 or 18 inches up, and all the walls was black mold. They spent, somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 fixing that house.
Can you get rid of black mold?
You can. And look, with money, you can do anything.
Well, right.
With money, you can do anything.
Well, I know you, but I'm not talking about. I mean, I know ripping it out and reframing it, but I mean, can it be fixed?
Yeah, it can be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be fixed. The problem is that homeowners didn't fix that claim because they bought it like that and they didn't do a home inspection. It was a pre-existing thing and they didn't do a home inspection. So they didn't do in the insurance company's minds, they didn't do their due diligence to avoid that. I'll give you another example. There's a house there's two houses in Pulaski. We just bought one. We had a contract on both. We did a home inspection on both. One of them we walked from because it was eaten up by termite. Okay. We bought the one next to it. Talking to Jay, my partner last night. You know Jay.
Yeah.
And partner last night, he said the guy next door that just bought the house walked over and asked if we wanted to buy it. I said, no. Why do you want to sell it? He said, well, it's eaten up with termites. I got a bulldozer. And which is why we didn't buy it, because it was eaten up with termites.
Yeah.
But this guy was sold this house by somebody, all right, who did not disclose that. The seller doesn't have to disclose. They're not allowed to conceal.
Gotcha.
They don't have to tell you about it, but they can't hide it. Okay. This guy bought this house. I think he paid $80,000 or $90,000 for it, and he's got to bulldoze it. Like, why people don't get a home inspection baffles me. You're saving $400, $500, $600 that could cost you literally hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And it could be anything. I remember, and I don't know if it was you that was telling me this, but there were drainage problems, which a simple French drain just corrected the problem, and it cost hundreds, maybe $1,000, but it was pretty pretty simple to put in a French drain because drainage water is always an issue with homes, isn't it?
Water, termite, biggest issues we have, especially because we're in the hills here. We're in the mountains, so water runs downhill. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
You know, water runs downhill. And we have negative slope to a lot of these houses where negative slope is just slope towards the house instead of away from the house, and water's an issue. French drains can fix a vast majority of it. We also have houses that have springs under them where it comes up under the slab. You have to do sump pumps or waterproofing system. You know, I mean, it's one of those things of.
Why would you build a house over a spring?
You don't know it.
Okay.
You don't know it. And a lot of times
Is there not a way to check for that ahead of time?
Well, it's wet weather springs. So, example, my house has never had water in it. Never had water in it. That rain we had probably 4 weeks ago when it rained three and a half inches in 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had water come up in my basement. And it's called hydrostatic pressure, which means the water level rises so fast. The water has to go somewhere. And where can it go? With this great big dry spot, you know, in the earth, because your water sinking down through the soil acts as a cap. And so the dry spot then becomes underneath the house. And when you pour your slab inside your house, it shrinks just that little 1/8 of an inch around all the footers, and the water will just seep in over that.
So were you like, I got to get this fixed, or is it a fix, or is it just one of those things you have to live with?
I've lived there for 9 years. It's a once in 9 year event. It is what it is.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
You know.
So how long can I expect the inspection process to take from, and I guess this is probably an open-ended question, there are variables, but how long can I expect from the time I call Damon Gatier, you'll get me in contact with an inspector? How long does the process take before it's fully inspected and I get a report?
Depending how busy the inspector is, 3 to 10 days.
Okay, so within 2 weeks.
Yeah, within 2 weeks.
So this can happen quickly. And how much, I guess it depends on the size of the house and the depth of the house, but how much is an inspection? How much would that cost me? Just a ballpark.
It's based purely on square footage.
Okay.
So $400 to $800 for the inspection.
Under $1,000.
Under $1,000. If you go for septic inspections, those get more expensive, and septic becoming a real issue. And we should do, like the next segment we do here today, should be on septic.
Let's do that.
Changed the law on septic this year.
Let's talk about septic, and let's talk about Orangeburg height, which
Love
I
it.
learned from you. We'll do that next. If you're ready to list your home, I highly recommend you call Damon Gatier. Go to listwithdamon.com if you want to get a cash offer for your home. If for some reason you're upside down or you're behind or you're going into foreclosure, don't wait. Now's the time. Go to listwithdamon.com. That's listwithdamon.com.